Welcome to the Warband, a World of Warcraft podcast. My name is Oreo, and with me today are Chicken and Swag.
Yo, what up?
Hello.
Wow, so cool to be on the podcast. I've always wanted to be on the podcast. Thank you for having us. This is awesome. Well, Oreo,
it is awesome.
Yeah,
whole new expansion.
We are so excited to have you back on the podcast. For those who remember, Oreo, aka Mothravita, aka that awesome healer, is back on the podcast again. A fan favorite. Last week we had Oreo. Are you familiar with a TikTok content creator named Vibing Gorilla? You made like a bunch of videos.
Familiar.
Okay, he did a bunch of videos like with his wife and stuff. He live streams. Super sweet dude. We had him back on last week. He's awesome. We're excited to have you on this week.
Check him out.
Yeah, he's fun. He's a fun dude. But we're excited to have you on this week on the podcast to kind of as we exit out of the War Within, now going into Midnight. I'm excited. I am so excited. I've had a lot of fun. All three of us have been playing early access. So if you are trying to avoid spoilers, normally I don't do spoiler warnings because I don't know. Dude, you're listening to a WoW podcast.
That's a good point.
Right? Yeah, you're listening to a WoW podcast. You want to be spoiled. You want to know all the stuff that's happening.
That's a good point.
But in this case, we also understand that Chick and I have been playing early access. With that said, though,
because we are actually privileged WoW players.
Yeah,
no, it's just,
this episode goes live 4 a.m. Monday morning. So we do expect, if you have the normal access, by the time you listen to this podcast episode, you're already max level. No, we just want to let you know, if that is something you're worried about, why don't you play through the experience of Midnight, at least through the story. That's mostly where we're going to be, kind of not the lore, but just that experience. And then come back and listen to the podcast. Or don't. Just listen to it now and get it out of the way. Rip that Band-Aid off. Build your opinions of what Midnight is like before you ever even log into it, right? Love it or hate it, you're going to find out what you're supposed to think based on today's episode. All right.
Oh my gosh.
So normally we would ask, hey, what have you guys been up to this week? I think we know the answer to that question. So instead, I kind of want to ask, right, like, overall, how has it been playing Midnight? And kind of like, what has been your approach to that this week, right? Have you just been going hard, all in? Have you been trying to fit it in within your busy schedule? Have you leveled like 7 characters to max, or are you still working on the first one? I kind of want to know. Chicken, I'll let you go first. Dude, what's your weekend been like on Azeroth?
Wait, what's Midnight? What's Midnight? I've been playing a lot of Pokemon Go.
I know, dude. We talked about this.
You have been.
Yeah.
Low key, actually. Yeah, there was like a huge event. Anyways, it was weird. I had to balance my time between the two. So that was interesting. Yeah, no, I played, like, I'll be straight honest. I'm only at 85. I can only quest for so long. I found myself only being able to do it for like an hour and a half, like 2 hours at a time.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, I just can't, like, I just need to stop. And I don't know if it's just, I'm like conditioned that way because like, of like having kids, like my oldest was with my parents, spoiler. I don't even know why I said that. Anyways,
spoiler.
So like I had a lot more time this weekend. Yeah. So it just felt weird playing for more than 2 hours, and I almost felt like bored. So yeah, I got through the first 2 zones. I haven't gotten to the Harrenir stuff yet.
Oh.
And I haven't gotten to the Void Rift.
Oh, wait.
So I haven't gotten to... What?
So you're 85, right? And you haven't even gotten to Harrenir yet. I'm assuming you did like the Eretor stuff and you did the... and I haven't even finished Zolomon yet. And you're...
Like,
dude, are you like side questing?
So
how are you 85?
So okay. So
because I finished everything, and I was 85, and I had to like manually level up to 86.
Yeah, I think if you get through the entire main storyline, it gets you to about 87 with no side quest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one, obviously, the duration. So I had a lot of double XP, or XP and a half, whatever it is. Just because I wasn't playing like a long time, I just rest my character in like a major city.
Smart.
So that probably accounts for some of it. But to answer the question, yes, I've been doing basically all the side quests, all of the like the chests, all the flight things. Like I've been doing literally like almost everything.
Going for the
and
Sojourner.
For the key purpose of not having, what was that?
You're going for the Sojourner.
Yeah.
In lack of better terms, yes, but it's so I don't have to go do it later if I decide that I want to do the meta quest. And it's because when I tried to do the War Within meta quest, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do so much questing for this. And I was like, I don't think I can do all this questing. And basically I'm like, well, maybe if I just like brute force all the questing in the beginning and just get it all out of the way, it'll make it easier when I decide like later in life to get the midnight meta. So
I like how you start this off with like, I hate questing, and then you finish it with, but I have been doing
my goodness.
every quest.
I know, right? Yeah. I know.
Oreo, are you keeping up as well with meta so far? Are you going hard like chicken?
I love going for the metas. I think I have all of them, and I haven't gone for Sojourner yet because I've been kind of rushing some character to max. Ooh. But anything along the way, I'll get.
Yeah. So wait. How many? Oh, wait. I guess I have to. Wait, no. I've plenty of questions for Oreo. I have to finish up though with chicken here. So you've been doing the quest. You've been going through it, trying to balance Pokemon Go and World of Warcraft Midnight. Luckily, not a child, right? Because the child is off with your parents. So anything else? Anything else in that summary?
Not really. I mean, obviously we'll get into like more stuff. Yeah. But like overall, yeah, it's been fun. I've been doing profession stuff. I try to do a lot of mining and getting stuff like that because it's like super hot right now. Like I'm pretty sure I've already made like 50k gold just mining.
Oh wow.
Just like
wow.
A couple nodes every once in a while. Like if I'm just like flying between areas, I'm just like, oh, there's a node. And I don't even think I've hit level 100 in mining yet, which is kind of weird. I'm pretty close. I think I'm like 90 like 5 or something. So like definitely like just put mining on and just stop. It's like it's really not that bad. But yeah, I've made like a ton of gold. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Does anyone know?
That'll get you extra XP too.
Oh, that's true.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing. Yeah, you get a little extra XP from it too. So.
Does anyone know if that
feels pretty good?
Does anyone know if that panda is still gonna go for it in Midnight, getting to level 90, only leveling in Pandaria, not Pandaria, and the Wandering Isle?
Huh?
Oh no, I know who you're talking about. I can't recall.
I think he still did it in the War Within, so I'm hoping.
Yeah.
For those,
pretty awesome.
For Chicken and those who are listening, there's this Pandaren character who is still on the Wandering Isles. The concept is they've never picked a side. They're neither Horde nor Alliance, right? Because in order to leave the Wandering Isles, you have to pick if you want to be Horde or Alliance. And so he levels, I think at this point, I don't even know if mobs give him XP. So he primarily just levels off farming ore and whatnot. But it just takes forever. It takes so long.
I believe his name is Double Agent.
Double Agent. That is a good name. That's a good name.
I think you have told me about it.
That's a good name for, yeah.
Dude, Oreo, by the way, hooked me up with some good tech the other day when it comes to names. And I kind of, yeah, and I don't know why I never thought of it until you mentioned it to me. I felt kind of dumb afterwards. I was like, dang. But the strat of using low pop servers to get the good names, because it doesn't matter anymore. You can play on whatever server you want. Yep.
It's very nice, especially with all the Warband tech.
Oh, yeah. All the Warband tech. Like, you can mail stuff across servers to yourself now, I think. Maybe, probably. The War Bank will do it, though. So, Guilds are cross server, groups are cross server, right? The only thing is NAEU doesn't work.
It's true.
But yeah, so if you're looking for that very hyper specific name, dude, no shame being on whatever those servers are that they try to shove all the new players onto. I used to feel bad for that before the cross server stuff. I used to always feel bad, and this is so off topic, but feel bad when I would like encourage somebody to start playing WoW, or because of my like YouTube content, I had a bunch of like intro stuff for World of Warcraft on YouTube. I would get a lot of people that comment and be like, "Oh yeah, I just made my first character, and it put me on this server." And I'm like, "Dude, 7 people play on that server. Why is it trying to shove you?"
Yeah,
that's not a good experience. I think in my beginners, like in my guide for how to make your first character or how to play WoW or something, like one of the first things I say in there is like, "It's gonna try and put you on a server. Press this button to go pick a different one." I highly encourage.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
All right, I rabbit trailed a little bit there. I apologize, Oreo. I'm sure you've got plenty of tales to tell from this weekend of leveling, preparing. What does your weekend look like? Anything fun you kind of did to celebrate the launch of Midnight? Whether getting extra good snacks, taking off work, leveling 7 characters all at the same time, which is probably the strat, right? If you level 7. You just keep every one of them parked in the inn to get rested XP, and then just rotate. So as one runs out, you just hop onto a different one. But anyways, I'm digressing.
That's a good tip to log into the characters that you want to level.
That's true. So Oreo, what have you been up to this weekend in Midnight?
Oh my gosh, I've been up to a lot. I have 2 characters at max level now. I'm a little sheepish to admit.
Nothing sheepish about that. That's a high honor.
A lot of
here.
leveling. I couldn't decide who I really wanted to main, so I really leveled 2 characters kind of in tandem.
What are you thinking?
What did I do to level? I mostly did main story. I haven't gone for all the side quests yet. Been picking up treasures. I got the safari of all the new wild capture pets, since that's something I like going for.
I haven't done that one yet.
There's 3 rare pets now in this expansion.
And you're talking about like the pet battle pets, right?
I love collecting new things.
That's true.
Yeah, so they no longer have the battling portion, which, you know, I'm a pet battler, so I like pet battling, but it's a lot of people like the change.
Oh, I'm sure, because you don't have to battle.
But now they have kind of rare spawn pets that just have very long spawn.
Because you can, what do? You just throw a crate on them now or something? Pet?
Yeah, you just take a crate and throw it at them. They couldn't make it a ball because they'd be sued by Nintendo.
I think that's the problem that, what was that other game? That game that came... Yeah, but no, I think you're right, because what was that game that came out like a year ago? Maybe 2 years ago? About... It was
World.
Power World, yeah, right? And I think they ended up recently having to change, because that's what they got in trouble for, was capturing them with balls, right? Like, that was the lawsuit.
The ball mechanic.
The ball mechanic, right? I don't know why they make it cubes or something, or like cards, right? Just believe in the heart of the cards. Anyways,
that'd be cool, like Card Captor.
yeah. Dude, there's some good monster capture games out there. Chicken knows that because he's been playing Pokemon Go all weekend. You should Pokemon Go to Midnight and level your character to max.
Rip. Sorry, brother.
Wait, who's your buddy in Pokemon Go? I have to know.
Who's mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, who's your buddy? Do you have a best friend, Ruben?
Let me check. Oh, I have like 30 actually.
What?
I loved getting best buddies in Pokemon Go.
Right now, it's
I love collecting Pokemon. Right? I get that in WoW too.
I have shiny Steelix right now that I'm trying to gear up for the Ultra League.
Steelix, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think mine's a shiny
Rotom. You're all good. You're all good.
Ooh.
Yeah. He's pretty rare.
All right. So back to the conversation at hand. On topic. So have you guys pre-ordered Fire Red Leaf Green remakes yet?
Oh my gosh, no.
Okay.
Oh,
No.
I need to. I keep forgetting.
All
I want
right.
to get leaf green.
Oh, dude, I need fire red. I still have both. I think in my cabinet I have both. But back on topic. Back on topic. So, Ori, you said you're leveling. You leveled two characters to max already. And you weren't sure. What are you thinking this season? I know in the past, I think Shaman was kind of your go-to. Have you finally decided that your best friend Swag has inspired you to be a Blood DK?
Oh, not this time. But I'm looking at playing Prez, maining Prez this tier. We'll see how it goes.
Ooh,
I've played a lot of Prez kind of as an alt and for certain mythic fights, like mythic end bosses, Razaketh, and what was the more recent end boss? Dimensius. So, giving Prez a full try, and I got my Shaman in the back pocket. Both seem to be pretty fun now, so.
Dude, a
lot of healer changes.
Yeah, that's I don't hate the healer changes. At least what I played through in pre-patch on my Shaman and what else, it didn't feel terrible. I think what got me was having to just mentally adjust to accepting that a lot of my utility was gone, especially on my Shaman. Just accepting it was gone. And I think that's where it's hard. It's hard when you lose something to be like, no, I used to be able to do this and I was so helpful. But now I have to be like, oh, I'm allowed to not do this now, right? Like, that's not my responsibility.
You have to accept it.
Yeah, and
I couldn't accept it. I switched to Prez. Cloudburst was a hard loss for me. I was a big Cloudburst enjoyer.
I believe it. Cloudburst is hit or miss for me. Sometimes in Raid, I really enjoyed it. Whenever Cloudburst was like a dungeon meta, it wasn't my favorite. I like Healing Stream just because I don't know. I got 2 brain cells. All right.
Now we got Storm Stream coming out.
Oh. I need to look into
the Storm Stream is the thingy.
Yeah, I need to. Is that the Apex talent?
Yeah, that's the word.
You know what? Apex hero talents. I am kind of surprised we have both happening simultaneously, right? It does seem a little weird that we're getting both Apex and I don't know. It's weird that they exist in the same realm.
Yeah.
Actually, okay, so that
I really haven't healed much this expansion yet.
No, have you done any dungeons or just purely questing?
Just questing, and I have done dungeons, but I was doing them in DPS spec, try and blast them out.
That makes sense.
Fast.
That makes sense. I've been tanking because I'm leveling my tank again. So I've been tanking dungeons right now, and I think I'm just a menace. And I whisper every time I go into one, the first thing I do is just whisper the healer of if you want me to slow down, just say something and I'll slow down. Right? Like I try to keep an eye on what they can handle, but I felt so bad, dude. I went into the Windrunner Spires, or whatever it's called, and I was just blasting. I was just pulling entire wings. Yeah, it's fun. I was pulling entire wings, and at one point, the whole group died except me. Okay, let me just clarify. Except me, whole group died. I was living. I'm a champ. I probably lived for another 30 seconds to a minute. That's an exaggeration. Maybe it was 30 seconds. I lived a little while after they all died, though. I lived for a good while, and then I died. I died right as they were trying to run back. They were almost back to me. And so then they got wiped out. Right? They got wiped out. And then the mage started yelling at the demon hunter for pulling. And he's like, dude, are you trolling? Why are you trolling? He's trying to kick out the demon hunter for pulling all the I guess in his mind, the demon hunter had pulled all that trash that was running back to its place after I died. Right? So I don't think he understood the situation. And I'm just sitting there hey guys, it was me. I was the problem. But it's fun. It's hard because, and I don't know if you're the same way I am. I did a couple follower dungeons because the quests prompt you to do the follower dungeon rather than doing a normal dungeon. When the quest is oh, go do this dungeon. Do you want us to queue you in a follower? And one time in the War Within, I was questing with my wife, and we did it as a normal dungeon and didn't count the quest for some reason. So ever since then, I've just been paranoid that if I try to do it in a normal dungeon, it won't count the quest. And I don't think that's a problem. Like, I guarantee everybody's going to tell me, Swag, that I did dungeons normally and it was fine. But, dude, follower dungeons kill me. I can't do it. It's just like so slow. If you try to pull a bunch and one of them dies, they just stay dead until the pull's over.
They're
right?
slow.
Right. Yeah, they won't release. Like, they won't release if you're in combat for whatever weird reason. They're slow. If they get into combat, they're not going to obviously run back to you as the tank. And so, like, it was the worst experience because I know what I like my dungeons to feel like. And in that setting, it's just like miserable. Like, you feel like you're throttled, right? Like, you feel like you can do more, but you have to wait and you have to just kind of take your time. And normal dungeons, I'm enjoying right now because you can kind of just amp it up a little bit. You're kind of like, oh, this is too easy. Let's just pull another 5 packs and see what happens. And it's just fun. The problem is you just don't know what you're getting in the group. And so I always want to be careful, especially for the healers that pop in. Right, like if a healer's popping in and they're panicking because their tank is a nutcase, right? I want them to know they can just whisper me and I'll slow down.
That's nice. That's good etiquette.
Good etiquette. Yeah, that's good tech for everybody listening.
As a DPS, I love when tanks pull like that.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I love when tanks pull like that as a DPS, and after leveling as a DPS in dungeons, it just like I'm having fun blasting, and then I'm like, oh, this doesn't look fun to heal, so we'll see how it goes when I actually have to swap specs.
I'm trying to decide what I want to do, because once I get my Death Knight up, I definitely want to level my Shaman. I wasn't sure at first. At first, I was like, I'm going to get my DK up and then just focus on gearing him. But I had so much fun healing this past season. I really loved healing this past season. You would help me out a ton, actually. I think I brought a few questions to you of moments, especially like with raid healing, where I was pretty stuck. And you helped me out a bunch. I had so much fun, and part of me is like, I love tanking. I'm excited to get back into tanking. Tanking is going to be my main this season. But I want the ability that when like some of my friends reach out and they're like, oh, dude, we just need a healer for our group, that I can still say yes, right? Like that I'm not just cause I always get locked into like one role, and then I'm just forever stuck in that one role. And so I like the flexibility of being able to, like, if they need a healer, I can still jump in. But I need to decide, do I want to level...
I feel like the people who make...
Yeah?
Sorry?
Oh, I was just saying, I got to decide if I want to level it as a healer.
Like, yeah. I feel the people who make really good tanks are also really good healers. It's the same kind of skill.
That makes sense. I make a really bad DPS, so I don't know if that's like a good sign or a bad sign, but I'm a notoriously bad DPS. One of these seasons, I need to force myself. One season, I'm just going to force myself. And I think it's hard switching to a role that you know you're not good at or you don't feel good at, or switching to a class you know you're not good at. Because there's this part of you that's like, I still want to play with the same people I play with, and I still want them to view me the same way that they've always viewed me. And if I swap to a role that I know I can't do well, then I feel like I'm going to be behind everyone, right? And I think I have to just get over that. I think I just have to get over that and say, no, it would actually be fun for me to challenge myself for a season doing this. Even if that meant that I don't get to show off all the same cool achievements everybody else is showing off. Or if it takes me longer, right? If it takes me twice as long to get Keystone Legend or something, who cares, right? Like, who cares? It's just cool to... I think it's time for me to do that. And when I say it's time, I mean, like, it's time later, not now. But, like, I'll procrastinate that to another day.
Oh, my gosh.
Maybe season 2.
Dude.
What? Chicken, you want to fight?
You're just nuts.
You wouldn't even win, Chicken. You wouldn't even win. You know why? Because I'm a tank. Tanks don't die, dude. You would win if I was a DPS, because I'm not good at
that. I'm also a tank. Maybe.
That's true.
I don't know.
Maybe. We don't know. Dude, Unholy looks really good right now, though.
Yeah. Dude, I can't go back to a DPS queue. I just can't.
No, the DPS queues are hard.
That is rough.
Dude, DPS queue is the worst.
Are DPS queues bad right now for like leveling, as you've been leveling? Because you said you were doing them for your shaman, right? Or your evoker.
Yeah. I expected them to be worse, but they were probably like 5 to 8 minutes for me, at least when I was playing during my hours.
Oh, that's not bad. That's like enough to get like a quick quest in between.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd just be, doing my route and get the cube up.
Dude, that's really good.
How long did you say they were? I'm sorry.
5 to 8 minutes.
Okay. Just for reference, I have the game open just to reference things. I just wanted to see how long it was. I queued as a tank, and it took
instant. Yeah.
2 seconds.
Yeah, it's instantaneous.
Oh yeah.
The moment you click it, it pops up. Yeah,
dude, I can't imagine waiting. Wow. See, dude, TikTok has rotted my brain. I can't imagine waiting that long. I need instant gratification. Instant queue. Never mind. Yeah, it doesn't.
You can do more side quests in a DPS queue.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
That's true. Think about how much closer you would be to the meta achievement if you were a DPS. Long-term strategy. That's investment, bro. That's investment. So take that to the bank. Yeah. I don't even remember where this conversation was going ultimately. So why don't we just kind of actually start looking intentionally at all the things that have been happening in Midnight. Obviously, this is early access, so not everything is available and open yet. Everything leveling related is though, but just not all the end game content. I don't think any of us have really messed with the prey system, so that might be a conversation for next week. Right, but other than that, we kind of have a varied experience in leveling. I've finished the story. Oreo's gotten 2 level 90s. Chicken is getting close. He's got 2 more zones to go in the story. Has experienced a lot of it though. So I want to take a moment and just kind of just go through everything that we've experienced so far, what we've been a part of so far. What's been fun, what has been fun, what we would like to see maybe improved or worked upon, things that we're worried about, things that we're excited about. So kind of to kick it off, the intro experience, right? The whole Sunwell attack. And I don't mind if you use past expansions as reference points as well, especially more recent past expansions, Dragonflight, Shadowlands, The War Within, right? In terms of like the intro experience. But we protect the Sunwell, attack the Void. It takes place pretty much right after the cinematic, right? That big cinematic they did of the Sunwell attack with the Blood Elves. It takes place right after that. If you're playing on the lines, we were hanging out outside the cathedral when we jumped there. I don't know where Horde players start from on that. I have no clue. But with that said, I've rambled enough. Chicken, Oreo, how did that feel? Like, how did you guys feel going through that? Did it live up to the hype? Was it more than you expected? Not what you expected, etc.?
It's kind of weird because I'd played the beta and I remember doing that zone and it felt like kind of deja vu-y, and I was like, oh, this is kind of weird to do a second time, but I don't know. I kind of like the aesthetic of it. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's kind of weird. There's like things overall that I like about like the first couple zones that I'm in, but yeah. To be honest, a lot of things still seem kind of buggy. I don't know about you guys, but like I found like a fair amount of bugs.
Ooh, what are some bugs that you came across?
Not to like kind of switch fun. Gears.
Yeah, no. Like, what were some bugs, especially like what were some bugs you came across?
Oh, there's like so many things that aren't showing up that say they're supposed to show up. Like a lot of like chests and things like that. And I there are a few that I don't think I have access to just because I haven't completed the storyline. But then there's others that should be there that aren't.
Is that like an add-on telling you something's there, or
that? Yeah, there's an add-on, and then I'm just like, listen, I'm just gonna straight watch a YouTube video to make sure this add-on's legit. And they are.
It's possible that the add-on
and then
is
there's just
correct.
Been like weird like.
Oh, I was saying it's possible the add-on's correct, but maybe some of that content.
I'm sorry?
I was saying maybe the add-on's correct, but some of that content isn't activated yet until total release, right? I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's not activated yet because I'm not there in the storyline, or if it's just maybe just not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's kind of weird. I haven't figured that one out yet.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of weird. But there's been other like visual glitches where like I go into a room and just things just look like nuts.
I haven't had that problem.
Like just like the screen's flashing, like it's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, but yeah.
I have heard from my guildies of them having some different GPU compatibility issues once in the new midnight zones, like things unloading, deloading, but looking for like graphics card updates sometimes can help for that.
Yeah.
That makes
that's
sense.
True.
Yeah, dude. How update those drivers, bro?
Kicked out. Yeah, I mean that might be part of it, to be honest, but I just assumed it was like just like little bugs.
That makes sense.
I don't know. It's not anything that's like inhibited my gameplay, but it's like, oh, this is kind of annoying. Like I just got to reload mostly.
Yeah, I haven't run into that. I do wonder if it's a driver issue or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I haven't heard too much about it. But if somebody else is listening right now, I'm like, dude, I had the same problem. You know, might be worth updating them drivers. I feel like that's like the driver updates are the worst, right? Because like you don't think about it until something starts falling apart. You're like, oh dang, not the drivers. But anyways, chicken, back to the original question at hand. That opening experience, right, going into the Sunwell, pretty much everything up to actually going to Silver Moon City, right? How did that feel, right? The whole like attack on the Sunwell, trying to fight it off, and then ultimately having to like fly away and escape. How do you think that felt as like an opening? Did it feel epic neat for the expansion, or eh?
It was kind of neat. I liked that. Yeah, I liked it. It like the story was neat, and it felt like, oh, like this is kind of cool. It felt like you were like end boss, like kind of moment, but then I was like, oh wait, maybe it isn't.
But in terms of that opening experience, in terms of going to the Sunwell, right, and kind of experiencing that little light versus void battle, how did it feel? I know you're not really a lore guy, but even just the questing experience, did it feel cool? Did you feel like a hero? What did you experience going on?
Yeah, it was neat. Like it kind of gave those might be like the only cinematics I've ever watched, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like this guy's like ripped. He's like buff. He's trying to get some magic going on here, and all my WoW wisdom.
Talking about Terralion?
What'd you say?
Talking about Terralion?
Sure.
Was he wearing like big bulky armor, or did he have like a mohawk braid looking thing?
Yeah, the mohawk guy.
Oh, Erator, his son, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, oh yeah, look at me, I got all these powers. Brr. And
they made his hairstyle really cool.
They did.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of like didn't like it, but dude, I thought Erator's a vibe.
Oh, they're crazy.
Yeah, I thought Erator's a vibe. I enjoyed him.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah,
bro.
I do have one problem. I have one slightly major problem with Erator, but we'll get to that later. Wow. Otherwise, I like him. Otherwise, I generally like the guy. Oreo, what'd you think? Right, opening experience. Did it live up to the hype? Yeah. Did it feel like it followed the Sunwell battle well, or anything that you would change if you were the creative director behind it?
I thought all of Eversong Woods and the Isle of Caldanis was done really well. And like, I didn't play the beta at all, so I kind of went into the pre-release pretty, fresh eyes.
Yeah.
And I thought it was just so cool that they built a bridge between the two zones of the Isle and Eversong. And I'm like, oh my God, there used to be like, you have to take a portal to get to the Isle of Caldanis. Now you can just go across this cool looking bridge, and I really liked how they kept all of the original areas of Eversong, and they even redid a lot of the quests with, updated graphics. And it was just so crazy, like almost like a mind boggle of like I was in maybe late high school.
Yeah.
No, I think it was late middle school. I was probably in 8th grade doing the Blood Elf intro quest. And I was thinking about it like, there's just no way I could have guessed that this many years later I could be doing the same intro quests on a different character, a different faction, 90 levels higher after being squished down like 2 or 3 times.
Yes.
Who would have thought that I'd still be there in the same zone doing these quests again? And it looks so much different now. And it's just a really cool feeling. It is very nostalgic, like Chicken was saying.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's
so that
cool.
part I really liked.
It's very cool. It's very cool.
Big lore characters around the Sunwell, too. All cool that they're kind of bringing in a lot of old pieces of TBC lore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just bringing in like a bunch of characters we haven't seen in a minute. Even if they're not saying anything or doing anything crazy, just having them present, it feels like the world is developed,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I love Draenei. I love Velen. I'm always happy to see him.
Oh yeah. We'll have to talk about the because the one side quest I did do was the Draenei Void Rift side quest. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. I don't know if you've done that one yet or not, but
yes, yeah,
that was good. So I did want to ask too though, just like Chicken mentioned cinematics. It felt like some of them were really good, and then there's did you guys see the one cinematic with Turalyon and Xal'atath kind of like talking to each other? I don't know why. Nope. I don't know why, but man, most of the cinematics with Turalyon were fine, right? Like most of them look fine, but that one, dude, it kind of just like you could tell there was time between the development of those two models, right? The Turalyon model is definitely very Legion, and the Xal'atath one's very modern. And Legion designs weren't too bad. Like they're not that. I mean, they're kind of getting far behind, but they're not that bad compared to some of the other models in the game. But I don't know. It was that cinematic. I think the way they animated Turalyon maybe amplified that, made it like more noticeable. That like you see.
I have to see which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like Xal'atath is like moving real smooth and lots of facial expression when she talks, and then Turalyon just looks like very like stiff and low detailed and like kind of blocky in his movements and whatever. But overall, though, I liked it. I thought it was really cool. Did you guys see Leroy Jenkins?
No, where's he?
No.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Leroy Jenkins was called by the Sunwell to come fight the Void. So that's
really?
a little Easter egg. Next time you're there, kind of take a peek around, and you'll find him, which is really fun. If I remember correctly, it was during the battle I saw him. So I don't know if he's still. I haven't gone back to look post, so I don't remember. But I did think that was cool. I liked how they introduced Eretor. I was nervous a bit because I felt like the Eretor questline stuff that we got leading into Midnight was kind of whatever, right? Like when he's running around like, we need the Windrunners, and I'm like, what? What? Like, why is your answer that we need Sylvanas? Like, of all the people that are alive on the planet, and don't get me wrong, like, I think Sylvanas will come back and have an awesome story, hopefully, but I don't know, it just felt weird. Like, it felt like they had a story they wanted to tell about the Windrunner sisters, and they just needed a reason to do it, so Eretor became the reason. But I felt like what we saw of Eretor, especially around the Sunwell, I thought it felt good, right? It's kind of like, oh, we get to see Eretor in his environment, right? They're in Silvermoon basically. They're at the Sunwell. They're doing paladin things, right? Like this is his home, and so that was really cool to kind of see him have that confidence and not just necessarily be like doing whatever his dad wanted him to do, because this was his territory, right? And I thought that was cool. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah, I'd say so too.
And then we after that we transitioned to Silvermoon City. General thoughts on what is undebatably the most beautiful city they've added to the game since probably Suramar.
Yeah. Added or re-added?
That's true. Whoa. That's true. It depends, I guess, on which part of the city. that you're
True.
in. Yeah. It's beautiful though. They did such a good job. And that main building where like the kind of the quest hub is at, oh, that is gorgeous. I want to see more architecture like that.
I love all the flying pavilions. I don't know if there's any quests that take you there, but if you go flying around Silvermoon, there's a lot of just floating pavilions in the sky that just have sitting areas that you can chill and just like look at the skybox.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
One of the things I felt with Silvermoon was that, because again, we've had player housing for the last like month, right? And player housing has been awesome, but player housing has also, I think, really pushed the envelope of what architecture can look like in WoW when you're kind of just given the resources to do it, right? Because player housing goes above and beyond, I think, what the resources that Blizzard wants to put into most of their decor within the game, right? Like, they're not going into a building, okay, can we place 700 plants in this one room, right? But players are like, dude, I'm going to place 700 tiny small bricks and build a giant statue of whatever, right? And I thought that Silvermoon was kind of like this, oh, you guys thought you were good at decorating your houses? Check out what we can do, right? Like, it felt like I was scared. I was going to go into midnight and actually be like low-key a little disappointed with some of the design because of how impressed I was with how people designed with player housing. And I was not disappointed at all. Silvermoon was gorgeous. So well laid out. And like, even like one of the first buildings I went into, I was trying to do a quest and accidentally walked into a puppy cafe. It was awesome. It was like a cafe.
I'm gonna need to find that.
Yeah, it's a cafe with a bunch of puppy dogs and kittens running around. It's like a dog and cat cafe. Yeah. I think there's even like a parrot in there. It's really adorable. Yeah. I walked there by accident. I'm like, yo, are there dogs? That lady's got a tray of coffee. And it just like kind of clicked. And I was like, yo, I love those like little world building things. And I think a Silvermoon city can do that much better than a Dornigal, right? Because a Dornigal feels like such a foreign culture, right? It's like they're kind of dwarves, but they're not totally dwarves, and they're kind of mechanical. They're not. They kind of have their own artistic side and creativity, but they kind of don't, right? Like it's this weird like mix. And then Silvermoon is, I think, a breath of fresh air from that, where Silvermoon is like, in many ways, very relatable feeling. It's elven, so it's like this high class, high society, elegant, kind of beautiful, but yet still very much like, yeah, if I was a blood elf, this is what I would do. I'd want to go to a dog cafe, right? Like, it just, I don't know, it felt cozy, but really cool.
Even the delve and the dungeon in Silvermoon are very well designed. Beautiful.
Wait, is there a delve in Silvermoon?
Yep, there is. It reminds me of almost Alcathar Academy from Dragonflight. It's got the same kind of academy vibe, but it's actually a really fun delve.
I was looking at the map trying to see if there was one, and for whatever reason, I could not like find like the little delve entrance icon. It might not be unlocked until I'm like max level or something. I don't know, but
I don't know.
No, it's definitely there.
Okay, then I'm blind.
I've seen it. Yeah,
I'm
it's
blind.
It blends in though. Yeah.
Okay.
Collegiate Calamity.
All right, I'll definitely have to look into it. Part of the reason why I was looking for a delve in Silvermoon is I love those, the reflecting prism. It's like an object. I think it's from crafting in WoD. I think it's WoD crafting to make
WoD,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and basically what it lets you do is it lets you swap your appearance with one of your party members. Except I realized, a couple days ago, it was yesterday. I realized one day ago, that technically Valeera counts as a party member when you're doing a delve. So I've been swapping myself with Valeera's appearance, and then like finding.
Oh my god, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. And then finding random people in my guild, inviting them to a group, showing up, and then swapping them so they look like Valeera without telling them, and then just leaving group. And
okay, since you gave me that piece of knowledge, I'll give you a piece of knowledge. You know the inn that you unlock through Erator's journey.
The Argentina. Yeah.
Did you notice that the gems that are kind of strewn about, they have a lot of lootable items in the inn, but the gems are reflecting prisms.
Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
So you can get more.
I love reflecting prisms. Yeah, dude, I probably have like 100 of them in my bag right now. I keep hefty stacks of those things all the time.
Me too.
Yeah.
I always keep one on me at least.
Oh, especially as like a shaman. You can just turn everybody into ghost wolves.
Yep, you never know when you might need to turn everybody into a ghost wolf.
You never know. You never know. I haven't tried with things like actually I think I have done before when I've gone into whatever that elemental form is that shamans have. I think I've done it with that before. Yeah.
Ascendants.
Yep.
Which ascendance form do you use? Do you use the
troll hair.
one, or did you go to your
troll hair?
Thank you.
Dude, troll hair was by far the best
ascendants,
one.
And I'll swap with somebody too to give him crazy hair.
Yeah, dude, troll hair by far is like the best one, and I don't know why people try to convince Blizzard that it wasn't. Like, I don't know why they were like, no, this is dumb. Oh well. You can't have them all, I guess.
It's the little things you have to enjoy.
It's the little things. You know what though?
The only thing.
Yeah.
No, you continue.
No. I was gonna backtrack. So what are you about to say?
Well, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit too. The only thing that I would say I would complain about from the pre-release, was really just kind of the process of unlocking the zones, because I leveled 2 characters at once, which isn't really efficient, but I did like Zulaman on my shaman, and I did Harandar and Eversong on my evoker. Yeah. And I wanted to go to Voidstorm on both of them, and I couldn't because you have to do all 3 of those zones on one character
and
to unlock
76.
Voidstorm.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and B7 or 86.
86, yeah.
86?
Yeah, because I had gotten, I think it was 85 when I finished all the questing. I was like, what am I supposed to do now? What am I supposed to do?
I was 86 on my shaman, and I'm like, okay, I can go to Voidstorm now because I have done all of the zone campaigns across my, Warband. It says here, Warband completed. But now I had to do Harandar and Eversong campaign a second time on my shaman.
That's right. Warbands are a scam. They're a scam. We've been scammed.
Oh my gosh.
We're gonna come with a new name for the podcast. So if you see it with a different name, we've been betrayed. We've been betrayed by the Warband brand.
Stop.
Yeah. And I wanted to backtrack maybe a moment. Actually, real quick before I backtrack, just to verbalize, I think that is an interesting thing that you brought up, right? Not to move on right away from it. That like, the game recognizes that your warband has done all those achievements, right? That you have completed every one of those like leveling campaigns, but it doesn't recognize that you should now have access to the Voidstorm. And it seems my gut tells me Blizzard, if we had a rep from Blizzard in the call right now, my gut tells me Blizzard would probably want that to be the case, that you could do that and go to the Voidstorm, right? My gut tells me,
I would assume the same.
That they'd be like, "Oh, we should fix that if it's an easy fix." But
it seems like a tiny oversight.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's just like, I'm sure, like, and it seems silly because I'm sure people listening are like, "Of course they should have thought about people wanting to level multiple characters." But sometimes, like when you're building something and you think somebody's going to use it a certain way, right? And again, through all the beta testing, right? Through all the beta testing, and maybe the way they beta test makes that kind of hard to test that specifically, right? It's easy to miss this idea of like, actually, what if somebody did want to level in different zones with their different characters and still manage to get to level 86 with both of them, right? Which means that you weren't just doing the story quests, you were doing side quests, maybe doing some dungeons, maybe doing some other stuff as well. It is a slightly unique situation, but my gut tells me Blizzard would still want it to be viable, right? And so it's interesting, like, when you run into that. Yeah.
Because in all fairness, I was the only person in my entire guild, because we pretty much all have early access.
Yeah.
I was the only one who experienced that. Everyone else kind of did the campaign 1, 2, 3, and then they got Voidstorm. And then once you are done with Voidstorm, your whole warband can access any of the zones. So that's how, like, probably how they intended it to be, even the way I did it. But
yeah. By the way, were you Chicken? I don't think you did. Or were you trying to log in right at 6:00 on Thursday evening, trying to get in?
Yeah, I was.
So I'm assuming you went through the same thing, right? It's totally fine. Servers are fine. 6:00 hits, and then nobody can get back in for like 10 minutes. But other than that,
we were standing by the cathedral waiting for the NPCs to pop up, and nothing popped up. Everyone was like screaming in in Say Chat, I want a refund, and then we all got disconnected and couldn't get back in.
Yeah, well, refund this, right? And then DC.
Yeah.
So other than that, though, I didn't have like any trouble, like lag wise or anything. We've had a few conversations, I think, around the war within of whether it was predatory practice or even good practice or not for Blizzard to offer early access back in the war within and now again in Midnight. But I will say, having played a lot of WoW expansions, and especially a lot of WoW expansions on launch, these two have been by far the smoothest ones I've ever encountered.
I would say so too. I think I can barely remember how it happened for Dragonflight, but I remember Dragonflight and War Within being very smooth.
No, dude, Dragonflight, I remember just the Waking Isles, that opening Waking Isles area just being the worst.
Wait, you're right. No, that one was bad.
It was so hard to level because everybody's trying to kill those same dragons at the same time, and it was just like, and again, you have every player trying to log in at the same time to do that. That was a nightmare. I think right? And we used to have Horde and Alliance areas separated, right? You think back even like a Wrath, where they had two different areas you could even go to for both Horde and Alliance to try and offset players. And then Dragonfly was like, everybody, you're right here. right here. So I think this was a good improvement. I also felt like, especially during some of the opening campaign stuff, the respawn rates were like super high on at least on the like the Sunwell area, right? We're like super high, so you never felt like you were just sitting around waiting for stuff to respawn or like trying to get a kill. Like you knew as soon as something died, it was probably going to respawn in like 5 seconds, if even.
Yeah, that's true.
Which was good. I did like that a lot. Comparatively, and I want to kind of backtrack this where my brain's jumping all over. If we were to go back to the Sunwell thing, how do you two feel like it did compared to the introductory storyline of the War Within, Dalaran kind of blowing up, trying to save everybody? Better or worse? I guess that's just my question. You guys, how do you feel like it compared like to that?
I guess one thing was just kind of the heaviness of the whole Dalaran explosion, because a lot of people were very attached to that place as a zone. So it made, like, from a story perspective, it would be very impactful, like, you know, move people.
Yeah.
But it also is kind of more of a negative kind of impression, maybe, because it's a loss. Yeah. Rather than something like the Sunwell, where you bring all the lore characters together, and it's a little bit more hopeful, I guess.
Yeah.
I noticed that difference. It was kind of sucky to see Dalaran explode.
Yep. And I think the Dalaran one was tough because it was like, I don't know. It was hard. It was hard because you show up and all of a sudden you're being attacked by a bunch of like Nerubians. And so there wasn't the, I don't know. It wasn't, to me, the Sunwell felt more grand. You know, it was like, we're here to defend the Sunwell. We're showing, like, it felt heroic. Even though we had to retreat, it felt like this heroic moment. Which was really sick. And then I also think the Dalaran was hard because you weren't really thinking about Dalaran after Dalaran blew up. You were kind of like, oh, dude, this sucks. I love Dalaran. But then you're just sitting there and you're like, yo, we saw Khadgar die, but also we didn't see him die. He's definitely coming back, right? Like you kind of finish that just thinking, no shot.
True,
he's dead.
major character loss too, and that's the impression. And then they put you in Dornagal, which is not my favorite city.
No, a little bland. You know what's funny though is they did like one shot. There's one cinematic that they played during the campaign. I don't even remember where or why, but one shot of Dornagal that they played, where it was like nighttime Dornagal lit up, and that always looks beautiful. But that's never the Dornagal we see in
that's true
in game, right? And so Silvermoon just feels very, very alive. It feels very alive as a city. Chicken, how do you feel?
So bright.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I do love the brightness of it. Chicken, how do you feel? Dornagal versus Silvermoon. If you could go back, would you prefer to go back?
Not gonna lie, I don't really have an opinion on that.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. I don't really care. I mean,
I have a question though.
Okay, give it.
Speaking of the Sunwell, and you know, this versus that, we haven't talked about the noise.
Oh, the noise. Dude, especially during the Eritor quest.
That is the only flaw with it.
Yeah. Especially the Eritor quest line, right? Where you're going back and you're trying to listen to Alonso's Foul. And it's just like in the background.
It's intense. And I tested it. I was looking at it.
Yeah.
It makes more noise when your camera is pointed at the Sunwell. And you can go as far across the bridge where you're not even on the Isle of Kildanis anymore, and you can still hear it if you're looking at it.
Oh my gosh. It is loud. You think they would have like saw that? I guess they want it to feel like intense.
Maybe it's a bug.
Maybe it's a bug.
I don't know.
I'm sure there's a degree though to where like they're like when you're around the Sunwell, we want you to feel like everybody's giving everything they have, right? Like people are just pouring out their strength into this thing. Which on one hand, that's good. On the other hand, I'm trying to listen to the dialogue.
It's like I can't hear Eritor speaking.
Dude, WoW in general is such a loud game. I mean, I don't know if you guys are the same way, but every time like I install WoW onto like a new device or something, the first thing I do, or if I'm helping somebody get into WoW, I'm like, the first thing you do is open it up, turn your master volume down to like 25%. It's just like a generally loud. Maybe I'm the only one who thinks that, but I feel like WoW is as like I don't know what the Sunwell would feel like if I was playing WoW on like full volume.
Dude,
I have a couple guildies who turn off their in-game noises when approaching the Sunwell.
Did you have like a macro? That's brilliant.
I think there's a key binding for it.
There's Control S, which turns off like all noise, I think. For those who want to know.
Shift
interesting
N or something. I don't know, something like that.
Only one I know is for all noise. Control S will disable all sound, but then you can't hear like
Maybe
the dialogue
that's
and stuff. Yeah. I use that because sometimes if I'm like recording the podcast, I need to log into WoW. I don't want the noise come through. Which is you just want to know that one. But anyways, yeah. So the Sunwell, awesome opener. Silvermoon City is awesome. Chicken, were you about to say something?
You guys just play a totally different game than I do.
Why's that?
I would have never even noticed the sound from the Sunwell. Like,
do you play no noises?
I just don't think I noticed them.
That makes sense.
Like, it's not that I don't really play with no. Well, maybe I do.
Maybe turn down.
Remember. I don't know. I'd have to check. To be honest, like I don't even know. Maybe I. Huh.
Chicken. What I really want to know.
For fun, you should just turn it to max. And see if you notice it.
No thanks,
dude. That's good. That's a good short form content idea there.
Yeah.
Flashbang by the Sunwell.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect. Dude, let's make that a trending audio on TikTok. Just like background noise. Speaking of which, whenever not trending audio, this is so unrelated. Whenever I see somebody post like Keck W on something, anytime I see it anywhere posted like a Keck W, it takes everything in me not to be like, did you know that Keck comes from the World of Warcraft? And the reason why my brain was thinking about that now was because, like, if somehow that was a trending audio, every time I hear it, I have to be like, oh, let me explain to you where this audio comes from. It's actually the Sunwell in World of Warcraft. But super unrelated. Sorry, my brain's getting all sorts of distracted today while recording. But Silvermoon was sick. Sunwell was sick. You leave Silvermoon, you go to Eversong Woods, or you had kind of mentioned that there was like a nostalgia feel to it. I totally get that. Chicken, you don't really have a nostalgia feel for Eversong. You kind of didn't play in BC, and probably haven't really leveled any Blood Elves through there, because by the time you started, the tutorial island has existed. So, kind of want to hear from Chicken first on this one. Chickens, you were going through Eversong Woods. How did that feel? Like, because this was really your first time experiencing it. And I want to hear that from somebody who doesn't have maybe the nostalgia goggles that we would have.
Sure. Yeah, I kind of just went through and did quests. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like you guys play like a totally different game than I do.
That's probably
that
true.
Can be a good thing.
Can be absolutely good.
Different POV.
Like, it's neat, but I'm like, I got one goal, and that's to grab these 4 loaves of bread and get them back to this dude and get to the next thing. Like, I don't know. I get so wrapped up in questing that it's like I don't even sometimes notice what things look like.
Well, how'd you feel about the questing and all the different quests that they have? I've heard a lot of complaints and like compliments from different guildies being like, I really liked these quests, and people thinking the ones in Voidstorm were too convoluted and the ones in Eversong were too simple, and those appealed people on different levels.
Yeah, I haven't done anything out of Eversong and the one next to it. I always forget what it's called.
Suleiman.
Yeah, that one. But like the questions seem like easy or necessarily like intuitive. It's just more like a quest is a quest in my opinion. Yeah, dude, I'm straight ragging on everything just because we're still talking about questing.
Dude, I mean, listen, but at the end of the day,
there's a lot of quests in Midnight. It's a lot.
But also too, like,
I've done this to myself.
Yeah, you have, dude. I will admit, when we were leading into this weekend, because I know Chicken prefers to like take his time, kind of doing leveling in like spurts, right? Just try to like pace himself on it. And I will confess, going to this weekend, he was chatting to me about the Pokemon Go event going on. I was like, look, Chicken, dude, you don't got a Pokemon Go podcast. You got a WoW podcast. And now I feel guilty. Now I feel guilty that I pushed you too hard.
Oh no, it's okay.
I see, because like when I'm leveling, man, I just like I'll like stop and like look at things. I'll look at the architecture. I'm like looking at the people. I'm like recognizing, even like in Eversong, they did such a good job at like bringing back characters, right? We saw a bunch of people from like Ghostlands hanging out that we knew from 20 years ago, right? And that's just cool. I love those moments. I love seeing that zone just updated. I would like see things and then call my wife over and be like, yo, look how beautiful this is. Look how cool this is. This is so crazy. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. Oreo, I don't know if you're this way, but like if I'm playing with somebody who's like newish to WoW, and we're like going through areas, I have to like explain the history of that area. I don't know if you're the same way, but I have to. Like, I'm like, this is why this is called such and such.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I love the lore of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, I mean, how many years has WoW been going on for? Like 20, 25, almost 30?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Warcraft
story
has been 30,
in the terrain now.
Which is wild, right? And I like what you said, story and even just like the terrain, right? Just the areas, the spaces, right? Even seeing Eversong healed from the Dead Scar, was that what it was called?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Scar.
Even just seeing Eversong healed, right? Somebody was asking me like, "Where's the Ghostlands in Eversong?" I'm like, "It's gone."
That confused me at first. I kind of wish we could have seen them heal over the Scar.
Yeah.
But it is really cool that they combined the two zones.
Yeah. Or even if there was just like, and they have enough story to tell. I think if they weren't, okay, I'm gonna use some language here. I think if they weren't trying to shoehorn in Harrendar into the Eversong area, I think we probably would have seen a little bit of leftover from the Dead Scar, right? I think we would have seen like maybe some like a patch or two where they're still fixing it, right? And there's still kind of some decay.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think they had another story they wanted to tell, and they just couldn't quite fit all of it into Eversong. That's probably the one negative is I don't know if I was a huge fan of the Light Bloom stuff. It was aight. I just don't it seemed a little, I don't know. It seemed like a little out of place, and maybe it just felt like Eversong was so cool of his own, and then they would just like stylistically shift so hard towards like the Light Bloom look, but we were already getting a ton of that Light Bloom look in Harrendar, so it felt odd having it there too.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I thought Eversong was really cool. I asked Chicken, I started yapping. What did you think? Right, like your first time, or did I? I don't even know. But what did you think going in, getting to experience Eversong? Did it live up to the hype that you had? Did it I know you mentioned nostalgia, but did it like live up to the nostalgia that you had?
I would say so, and it's just really cool. I'm very glad that they didn't like get rid of any areas, because if you think of all the original Blood Elf quests, you can find those areas that you did those in. They didn't like erase or kind of edge out any, even the most obscure areas. They have redone them, which I think is really well done.
In most cases,
and the skybox is one of their best skyboxes too.
Oh, so good. The giant laser?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very cool. You can see it even from the other zones.
Yeah, it is sick. I like, sometimes if I'm flying, I like try to like fly, so I'm like looking at it. It's like a really cool like skybox element. Do they have
and
the
I feel like my
questing?
Performance is good in Silvermoon as well. Compared to Dornogal, I would get very bad performance issues.
Dude, Dornogal was rough.
It was laggy.
You know what though? I was streaming in Silvermoon quite a bit. If I was in Dornogal and live streaming, dude, it was bad. And I know my GPU could probably be updated and probably get a new CPU at some point, but like it was bad if I was if I was in Dornogal. But yeah, Silvermoon I didn't have a single issue. Never felt it.
Obviously we're gonna get more people, but it's even when there was not many people on in Dornogal at off times, it never really was smooth.
Yeah, there's something weird with Dornogal. You are right. Yeah, I just assumed it was. Also, Valdrakken, I think, could be a little funky too.
Yeah, it was like a step lower. Like it was a little bit better in Valdrakken for me, but it was still pretty laggy. So I'm hoping Silvermoon stays as well performing as it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if it did, because as you said, I'll end up in like a low population shard of Dornogal, and even then it was still just horrendous. There could be no one in Dornogal, and I'm still having trouble. Yeah, it's because they have like.
I'm not the only one.
No. So I had something I was gonna ask. Oh, the opener. I never went and looked. I never tried to find it. The Blood Elf starting zone from the Burning Crusade, is that still present?
Like did they rebuild back to it?
Not to the original one, but do they have that zone in the new Eversong?
They do. There's some world quests there. It's up north.
Oh, sick! I'll have to go check that out. That would be a cool walk down memory lane. I like how a lot of the areas. I would assume they probably didn't for that one if it's just like world quests, but for a lot of the areas they actually like expanded. Right? They like took what was originally like one building and turned it into like the Windrunner family home. Right? Is a good example of that, where they expanded upon what was originally there and built it out. Because a lot of times in original WoW, you kind of got like one or two buildings and you're told this is a town, because that's just what they could do, right? Like it's what they had the opportunity for. And so now I like seeing them be able to say, hey, you had to use your imagination a little bit more for this, but now we're building it out. Like now we're giving you what we always told you was here.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
If you go up to the Blood Elf starting area, they will even have like a quest to kill lynxes and mana worms. Like the very first two quests that you'd ever do as a Blood Elf.
I have to go back. That's
it's very cool.
Do they need to update Durotar so I can go smack some peons in the orc starting zone?
I feel in my heart that this may never happen, but I really hope that they give Exodar and Azure Mistiles the same treatment.
Here's a problem.
As this, because these are my top two start zones.
Here's the problem. It's never happening. But I would love it. The problem, the reason why it would never happen is there's nothing there.
Please, Blizzard.
I think that was like the best part of the Draenei starting zone, was that like the whole point of them crashing there was because that island was such a nothing burger, right? Like all the
Blood Mist Isle is one of the coolest. Like it's like a Westfall equivalent.
Yeah,
that you could ask for. So cool.
It is very cool. At the same time, all of their problems there were caused by themselves.
Yes.
Right. That's just like the funniest thing to me, where it was like, because if you think about that island without the Draenei having crashed there, it would have been like the most like
crystal shards everywhere.
Yeah, it would have been like the most peaceful, chill little island of all time. And also, dude, that was one thing I remember playing back in BC. Back then, I was Horde. I was in Alliance in Burning Crusade, and I just remember thinking like, Stupid Alliance players. Your city's not nearly as good as Silvermoon. Dude, the Exodar are like... I went back there recently, and it's just... I don't know. They did a good job at making it not feel like a city because they wanted to feel like a spaceship. And so they do a very good job at that.
It's different.
Right? They do a good job at that. But then at the same time, every time I go there, I'm like, I hate navigating this place.
Yeah, nobody likes it.
No, I want a new one. Dude, make like a... Update the Exodar, turn it into like... Yo, okay, Blizzard. I know you guys listen to our podcast, so I'm about to give you another banger swag idea. All right, Dalaran's blowed up, right? Dalaran's gone. It's toast. It's crashed into Khazalgar. The shards of Dalaran are just being now infused into the earthen people themselves. So, here's what happens. Next expansion, The Last Titan. You're thinking, yo, we need another city that can float and just teleport to wherever the action's happening. But Dalaran's gone. The Exodar. All right? We got to make the Exodar.
Just fix it up.
Yeah.
Make it fly again.
Yeah, make it fly. Make it the next, like expansion city. Right? We've already done it to Silvermoon. Make it the Exodar. We can have an alliance-only area where we get to see a Naru. Yeah. Put the Naru there. And
I don't know if it's just me not accepting it, but what's the over-under on Xalatath just still having Dalaran somewhere? Because we saw a giant void like bubble around it, and then it was gone. And then the stuff that wasn't in the bubble, crumbles and explodes. What if she just has Dalaran somewhere?
Did we see parts of Dalaran when we fought Dimensius in the Dark Heart?
Did we? I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
I wiped too many times on that boss to see it.
Perfect. Rack, let us know if we did or didn't. But, dude, yeah, there was a part of me, I think we saw parts of Dalaran in there. There was a part of me, though, when Dalaran first got destroyed where I was like, well, Khadgar is definitely not dead. So Dalaran is probably just wherever Khadgar is. But then we never got Dalaran back. And we saw enough of...
crumbling.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But also at the same time, it would be the best way for them to make a new Dalaran. Right? Like make a new Dalaran and make it bigger. Because if they tried to reuse Dalaran again, I think the scale would just feel too bad. Right? City sizes are just much bigger now. And I think it would feel weird. One of our listeners right now. So we're actually live in front of our Patreon listeners at the moment. One of our listeners, Rack, he said, I won't be ready to leave Silvermoon at the end of midnight. It's too good. Make it the next Dalaran and let us take it to Icecrown. Listen, I don't think that's what's going to happen at all. Not a shot, not a chance. But yo, if they just floated Silvermoon, I'd be chill with that.
They need to open up a neighborhood there.
Dude, yeah. Let me have it. Can we put our guild neighborhood, or let's put the podcast neighborhood in Murder Row?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that would be sick.
Dude, that'd be so sick, dude. I would change my transmog just for that. Just for, also when you're getting like robbed and they're stealing your copper, that was a good touch. I was so offended. Every time it happened, I would get so hurt. I'm like, dude, they're taking my money. And I have to remember like 5 copper is like basically nothing, but it still
makes you feel like a tourist.
Yeah, makes you feel like a tourist, dude. I feel like I'm like one of the Americans in Paris during the Olympics when they had to tell them to stop beating up the pickpocketer. Anyways, backtracking to our already off-topic conversation. Listen, Blizzard, fix up the Exodar. Make the Exodar the next floating city. That could actually be really sick. That could be so cool.
We love those light purples.
We do. We
love the Naru.
Yeah, and we have to have something that can float over top of that crystal forest and Icecrown for the War Within.
Yeah.
Yeah, what better than a giant crystal spaceship? Just saying. All right, anyways, we can move on. It's a good topic, but we can move on. We leave Silvermoon, or leave Eversong Woods, and now we're heading to Zul'Aman. I believe this is the most we'd ever really seen in Zul'Aman, because before it was just a raid, right? We weren't really going in there to do much, right? We only went in there for the raid itself, correct? I was young back then, so I don't remember.
Mostly unreachable.
Mm-hmm. So this is the first time we're actually like going in and like experiencing the culture of the Amani trolls, not just going in and fighting them, but going in and experience. We also have that moment as we leave, and we're gonna get into a little bit of lore. So I apologize, Chicken. I hope that's okay with you. But this is actually something I'm a little heated about. Leaving Eversong, the interaction with the Amani trolls and Eritor and his dad Turalian. I just have to ask, what did you guys think? What did you guys think of that whole interaction between the Amani and Eritor and Turalian? Because that carries on quite a bit.
I went through it pretty fast, but I've heard, like, there are a few people in my raid team that are really into the lore and stuff who weren't super happy with Turalian's character.
Okay, see, I'm kind of the other way. I think...
All right.
I think... And I can explain. I think there's a storytelling trope that's used a lot, where it's just this trope of, like, my parent doesn't understand, and I have to teach them to understand, right? And I think because a lot of times, especially people who are writing stories, I think that feels relatable, or that feels like a personal story that they want to share, right? Of how they've had to show their parents how things are done now versus before, or their parents become bitter over something and they have to show them. And I think part of why I didn't like what happened was because even if that's, like, one, I feel like that's tropes overused, but two, it felt so forced. So just to recap for people who don't know what happened or were skipping through or whatever, at the end of Eversong Woods, you're kind of fighting off the Amani trolls because they illegally start farming wood in Eversong Woods. They're not supposed to be there. They've historically always been at war with the Blood Elves. There's high tensions, and now the Amani trolls have snuck into Eversong Woods and started chopping down trees to use as weapons against the cult that is in Zulaman. And we kind of kick them out. We send them back. We push them back over into Zulaman, and in doing so, Turalian goes to strike down one of the leaders of the Amani trolls, and as he's about to attack him, as he's about to strike him down, Eritor jumps in the way and takes the hit from his dad, right? And in part, you're like, awesome. Eritor sees that the Amani could be an ally, that there's bigger things happening. He sees that the Amani stepped into Eversong because they needed this light infused wood to fight off this void cult, right? The Twilight cult. And they did what they had to do, right? That makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me, and where I get frustrated, and where it drags on a little bit in the story, is Eritor jumps into his dad's blade, right? His dad is going, and to be fair, his dad is semi-right in what he's doing, right? Like, the Amani Troll have broken these, like, long-standing, like, rules that existed between them and the Blood Elves by going into Eversong Woods, right? So his dad's not... Turalian's not totally out of line. He's not totally out of line. Eritor jumps in, and from that moment forward, Eritor acts as if his dad had a blind fit of rage and attacked him. Right? Like, that's pretty much the way he treats it. Like, from that moment forward, it's like Eritor's, like, sulking off. Like, he, like, looks at his dad like a puppy that just got kicked and then, like, sulks off. And I think that really bothered me because I was like, dude, you heroically jumped in there to, like, kind of save this person, right? Like, you used yourself as a shield to kind of save them, even though they're kind of guilty. Like, they're kind of guilty of what, you know, they did. But you still went to go sacrifice yourself to protect them. At that point, rather than, like, giving your dad the side eye and acting like he personally attacked you, like, that's when you stand up and you make your argument and you defend, like, with courage and with strength. And then the story just kind of continues from that point forward, as if Turalian is this, like, evil person, this terrible father who never understands, and how Eritor questions the light now because his dad used the light to attack him. And I'm like,
yeah,
it feels gaslighty to me, if that makes sense. Like, if every time Eritor talks about it, I just can't help but think, Eritor, I think you're lying, dude. And maybe it feels that way for him. He's speaking how he feels, but it's not true. Like, it's kind of lying. And I don't know, there's a part of me that I think I would have been more excited because we're already throwing away one of the main leaders of the Army of the Light at this point, right? Like, if you finish the Void, I mean, we already warned about spoilers, right? But if you finish the Void Rift, right, Lothraxion is gone, right? Like we kind of dumped him oddly quick, right? Oddly fast. He kind of came out of nowhere and went away. It just feels weird that every leader within the Army of Light is kind of just being painted as like a villain out of just kind of this quick brush stroke. And I kind of wish that we saw Eretor maybe learn from his dad instead, right? Like maybe have this moment where his dad teaches him how to be a courageous like paladin. Like we see Eretor, rather than Eretor trying to be better than his mom and better than his dad and their mistakes. It would have been cool if Eretor was like, where's my mom strong? Where's my dad strong? How do I learn from their strengths, right? And pick up from those. And there's a part of me that really hopes, and it's not going to happen. I guarantee it's not going to happen because it's not the story Blizzard wants to write. I kind of want, as soon as the Sunwell issue is over, I kind of want the Amani trolls to attack Eversong or Silvermoon or something when the Blood Elves are like in this weakened state, to kind of like attack them and like reclaim land, and kind of have this moment for Eretor where he's like, oh, my dad's worries and his fears are actually built upon years and years and years of him being taken advantage like this, dealing with this, fighting this war for all this time. It wasn't that he was stubborn or unaware. It's that he's already dealt with this so many times that he saw the pattern before I did. I know that's not the story they want to tell, but there's a part of me that felt like it was too predictable of where it was going, and that the story they were trying to tell actually didn't work with the elements that they were putting into play. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think like one of my friends who's really into the lore kind of had a different reaction to it, but in a way that he still wasn't happy with the way it was told, because he didn't think that Turalyon would have reacted in the way he did according to his character. It felt out of character for him to even be in a position to attack his son. And it is a little unfortunate that they do keep seeming to be putting these light characters in kind of like negative lights, ironically. Mm-hmm. They seem to be going the way of the light potentially being bad, I guess.
Yeah,
but I think the truth is like Eretor's going to be going kind of in the middle with, Void Mom, Light Dad. He's probably going to be both.
Yeah, and I think it's fair. Like I think some of the storytelling of like, hey, any power source in the Warcraft universe that you try to tap into exclusively is probably corrupting in some sense, right? I think there's this lore element that exists in WoW of like, no, what makes Azeroth so special and the universe our characters live in is so special is it's touching all these different elemental realms, right? Death and life and chaos and order, right? It's touching all these realms, and it's the culmination of all that creates what we experience. And just having only one of those can cause problems, whether it's more obvious or less obvious, easier to control, harder to control, whatever, right? And so that story makes sense. It just, some of it just feels forced, right? Like the same way, like when as soon as the Sunwell is protected, we go back to Silvermoon, and immediately all the citizens hate the fact that the Army of Light is there. And you're like, guys, you see the giant laser in the sky, right? Like, and the portal, like the giant void portal above that laser, like what?
Something had to be done.
Right, like there's a part of me that's like, clearly you see this is going on, and they're trying to, I think they play this like occupied army thing, where it's like, well, they don't want to be occupied by an army, and that's fair, but I kind of wish they played it, I don't know, it feels like they gave their hand too quickly, where it could have been like, hey, they're showing up, the citizens of Silvermoon are actually ecstatic, they're joyful that they're showing up. And that's actually why they're even willing to let the Alliance stay in the cities, because the citizens are so happy that they're safe because of this. And then over the patches of the expansion, you see that crack and fall apart. And the citizens grow bitter as the Army of Light continues to not leave after the Sunwell thing is resolved, right? And continues to stay a little bit longer under the guise of another catastrophic event going on, or whatever the next major patch is about, right? That would have been cool to me, because it would have been like, oh, it's developing, versus just like, I don't know. it almost felt like, again, like the way like you're going up and you're like, why are these tensions occurring so quick? I don't know. I'm being critical, but despite that, everything's been so good. Like, as I said, I don't like that Eritor kind of gaslights his dad every time he talks about what happened. At the same time, I actually think Eritor has been one of my favorite characters they've added into the game recently. I like him.
Yeah. I like how much they put to his character, since he really didn't have a whole lot to say or do before when he was like, a child and not in the story.
Right. And it's hard too, because I think they're trying to do this like coming of age thing for him, but he's also a 40-year-old paladin, right? So like he's an elf-ish, half elf, so I know he lives longer, but he's still got like, what do you think, like 25 years of paladin training and experience?
Yeah, he's new.
Right. He's new, but he's not really, right? Like it's hard because even though he's an elf, it doesn't mean like young elves are just inherently dumb, right? And so like, I don't know. There's a part of me where sometimes he does something and I'm like where he acts surprised that the light can be used in a certain way. And I'm like, haven't you been doing this for the last quarter decade? Like, dude, I don't know. Or quarter century, right? I guess that'd be a quarter century, right? However many 100 years is. But it's still cool, though. I still like the story they're telling. I think there's going to be some really cool stuff that comes out. I have no clue what we're going to be doing for the patches coming up. I guess I never really do, but I'm excited to see where things go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought,
yeah. Oh, wait, were you going to say something?
No, just me too.
Perfect. The last thing, and Chicken, not last, there's plenty. Chicken, I want to ask your opinion on something while we're talking about lore. And I know you're thinking, I have nothing to talk about lore. I have noticed that this expansion, it's a trend I noticed starting in Dragonflight, and I think it's gotten progressively worse and worse. But it really spoon feeds you the lore. And not like in a great way, kind of like too much exposition kind of way. To me,
does it force feed you?
Yeah, but it's not even like force feeding as much as it's like spoon feeding a baby, right? Like I think I say spoon feeding because of the way I feel when I'm being fed that lore. Like I feel like they think I'm incapable of figuring it out on my own, right? It feels kind of like when you're watching Chicken's a dad of two small children, right? So, right, it feels like you're watching like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and the characters are talking at the end about the lesson they learned, right? Like that's kind of what it feels like, right? Like sometimes it feels like Bluey has been more, under the radar about their lessons than the current like dialogue. Because every time you pick up a quest, it's just like, oh, here's some verbal dialogue that you can't miss, right? You can't skip this. That basically just tells you where the plot's at right now. It's kind of like the Netflix thing where when you're watching like a show or a movie on Netflix, they write them so that they assume you're not actually visibly watching. You're just kind of like working around the house or something listening. So they like over-explain.
Watching it on your phone,
right?
Phenomena.
Yeah, so it feels like they are assuming that we're just skipping all the dialogue. And so they're kind of force-feeding you the major plot points. But sometimes it feels like they're trying to teach you the lesson forcibly, right? Because they're like, oh, well, they're not going to realize what we're trying to do with these character stories unless we tell them outright. Exactly. And so it feels like, again, the end of a children's show where the two characters are talking about like, oh, I learned that I need to blah, 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 blah. And I don't know. Sometimes I want to just be shown a little lore bit because of somebody's eyebrow raise and not because they sat there and explained exactly what they were thinking.
Yeah, you don't need them to chew up your food for you.
Yeah. So I think that gets like a little, I don't know. I think that hasn't been my favorite because it kind of almost makes things feel younger, if that makes sense. Like it not that the themes are any less intense than the army. We're fighting these armies of the void, trying to save the planet, right? Dealing with the sacrifice and what happened in Zulaman and all these other things. So they're good themes, but then sometimes the way they chew them up, it just feels, I don't know. I feel like I want to, I think what it is people ask me a lot what it would take for me to enjoy doing delves, right? They're like, Swag, what would it take for you to like doing delves? And I think for me to like doing delves would have to be turned into something that people who currently like delves would not enjoy, right? Right, faster paced, harder, more challenging, keeping you on your toes constantly, right? Like making it maybe feel a little more like an M+ dungeon. And I think that's what they're doing with the story right now. And to clarify, there's I don't want them to change delves, because if they change delves, then the people who like delves wouldn't like it. Even if now I like it, there's an audience that likes them and they wouldn't like it anymore. And I think that's what they're kind of doing with lore, where I think they're so afraid. I think they're so afraid that people aren't, because they know, they see that people aren't reading the quest text, and people aren't like listening to every stay a while and listen, which they've had tons of in this expansion. So they're just kind of spoon feeding to you. And I think what it does is the players who don't care about lore still really aren't going to care about lore. But now the players
and
who
they're not going to like being fed that either.
Not going to like it,
the
right?
people who want to skip the dialogue aren't going to want that spoon fed to them.
Yep. But then the
people who know the lore like you might know more than the average player, but you're going to not like that either.
No, right? Now I'm like, oh, this makes the lore that I normally love feel a little watered down. Even though I'm technically getting more, right? They're being more upfront. There's less guessing involved, less of a hunt to getting the information, but it just feels... So all that to say, right? Like, I think sometimes Blizzard needs to realize that just like different players like different parts of the game, and you don't have to try and cross-pollinate it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of our listeners brought up, in relation to delves, he said, "Oh, Swag, but you said if there was housing decor and delves, you would do them more." That is true. There also is housing decor and delves now, so I have been doing them a lot.
So now you have to do them.
Now, yeah, dude. Yeah, now I'm definitely doing them. And right now is the prime time to do them because there's not much else to do, and I need to level. But, that brings up another kind of conversation point. There's been housing decor dropping from, like, everything. Like, every third quest is housing decor. How do you guys feel about that?
I like it. It was an interesting project that my raid had to deal with because I'm an officer in my guild, and they are adding raid decor to the raid drop tables, so we had to figure out a whole new extra kind of loot system for how we plan to approach it, which was an interesting kind of thing that we had to think of going into this expansion.
Low-key, actually.
So now we have a system.
Low-key, we haven't talked about that. I don't even think we know it's happening. So could you just, for maybe us and those listening, what strategies did you guys come up with for that?
Rundown.
Yeah.
So the thing that makes this complicated is the decor in raids is bind on pickup, Warband on pickup. And after you collect it, you can need it again. So if you go into the raid with the same 20 people, and everyone's needing it every single time, there's a pretty high chance that a good amount of people will just never get the decor.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So our loot system that we're having people do, because we can't distribute it with RCLC, our loot council, because it's soulbound, is we're having people who, if you have a first collection bonus on a decor, you hit need. Okay. And if you already collected the decor, then you greed. So
pretty simple.
Basically, it gives people who have a first collection bonus on a raid decor a priority.
Yeah.
And then eventually it'll go to greed.
Yeah. And the nice thing is, this isn't the answer people probably want to hear. But the nice thing is, eventually, at some point, you'll be able to go back and farm.
Yes, you can always go back on old raids. And you can also, pug, go LFR, pug raids, do alt raids.
And I'm assuming it's not tied to Mythic, correct? I'm assuming that's just, across the board. Yeah.
Any difficulty.
Right. So even
a lot
if you
of our raiders in our team don't raid outside of raid time, so it was just our way of dealing with it.
That makes sense. Low key, if let's say it's season 2 of Midnight, right? And somebody's like, "Yo, there was this item that I never got from the raid that I really wanted for housing decor. Can you guys help?" Right? And we're season 2, dude. Easy. Our guild would put a group of 10 people together to jump into normal and go just slam that boss and get the loot for that guy, right? So I think it could be. I'm sure we're gonna see some negativity on that because people will be like, "Well, I don't want to have to go raid and then get a 1 out of 20 chance of rolling on an item. that feels like too much. But once that's done, it'll probably be some of the easiest farmable content out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. At least for like loot and stuff like that. I didn't even thought about raid. I think for some reason I just assumed we weren't. I just assumed we weren't gonna see housing stuff in raid. I don't know why I made that assumption. Just did.
Yeah, I can bring up the list. It's actually a good majority of the bosses have one piece. We're seeing like 3 raids.
Oh, wow.
You know, they're kind of releasing raids in a bit of a different format than they have before.
So that's like 9 bosses, right? If most bosses are dropping Decor, and I'm assuming housing Decor and raid is probably more than just like here's a bench, but also it might be, I don't know.
Yeah, tends to be pretty cool stuff.
Good. Yeah. So as you're looking that up, kind of jumping into Zul'Aman, right? Keep things moving because there's a lot to talk about, a lot we haven't gotten into. We'll just kind of speed through Zul'Aman, Harandar, and the Void Rift as we kind of start to wind things down. But I thought Zul'Aman was really cool. First time in there, to see it fully. There's part of me that kind of wishes we actually got to see trolls who didn't go back to the Loa, right? Like that were just like, nope, we're going to be independent and do it on our own. I thought that was cool. I actually was like a little sad when they started going back to Loa, but also doing all the Loa quests was really cool and fun. So I don't know. I'm being complaining about something that I actually had fun doing. So I don't know. I thought that was cool.
I wonder if they'll add it as druid forms.
Ooh, those would be cool. I thought the whole zone was beautiful though.
It was. It's cool to see something that, you know, like we said earlier, you couldn't normally access a lot of this area in the raid terrain that it was before. So it's cool to see it all fleshed out.
It is my favorite when we know places exist. Like we know they exist, but we can't go to them yet, right? The Dragon Isles I thought was cool. Undercity, Koresh, right? Although I feel like they should have saved Koresh and just have done Koresh for the Void Spire. The more I do that, the more I realize that they should have done a different zone than Koresh and use that for not Void Spire, for Void Rift. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
They feel too similar. Like right conceptually they just feel too similar. And
I
think Koresh would have given it more foundation, but also though Void Rift is definitely very much like what was the Burning Crusade zone in Outland North where the Ethereal were? Netherstorm, right? I did notice that there's a lot of correlation between like Netherstorm, Void Rift. Obviously, Silvermoon is already a Burning Crusade zone. Zul'Aman, again, another Burning Crusade zone. But then you also have Harandar, which felt very Zangarmarsh-y, right?
Like green Zangarmarsh.
It did. Chicken, you've been leveling through Zul'Aman. Sorry, I know you've been quiet because it was a lot of lore talk there for a second, and I promised no more after this past Christmas. But how did Zul'Aman feel for you? Kind of going in there. Any initial thoughts that you had?
Yeah, it was a neat experience. Yeah. I honestly don't know what to say. Like honestly, like
no, I do totally get it. I totally get it.
I went in, I pressed buttons, I did quests, and I got out. Like this part of the expansion is so boring to me. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like I feel bad saying that out loud, but like I've no like it makes my brain hurt almost to play WoW in this capacity.
Dude, that totally makes sense. When
That's
does
valid too.
Yeah. Chicken, when does WoW get like good for you? Like when do you get like the most excited?
Maybe like in a couple weeks. Once I hit 90, I'll probably be fine.
Okay.
I just dude, can I just buy like a level 90 honestly? Like
you probably
wish that was a
somebody probably knows where a good like leveling spot is with some like elite mobs or something, and you just sit there while they farm them.
Yeah, but then I'm just gonna have quests that come up, and that's gonna bother me. It's a never-ending conflict.
That's true. So is it really the questing itself, right? Because I guess the dungeons you enjoy, delves you probably can manage, right? But it's the like actual like questing.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Everything.
I mean, hey, no, dude, that's fair. That's fair, right? Like we were just talking a second ago about how WoW is this big game that has so many different ways for you to play it, right? And it's not a one size fits all, you know. Some people love battle pets, and some people hate having to battle pets to collect pets, right? So it kind of there's such a wide variety there. I think it's cool. The Void Rift, we'll talk on that. Oh no, let's go Herondar real quick, and we just kind of breeze through. I thought Herondar was cool, very Zangarmarshy. To be honest, though, I think I'm done with underground zones for a while. I kind of wish Herondar maybe was the last zone in the War Within instead, right? Use Koresh for the Void Rift, kind of combine Void Rift and Koresh into one, and then use sorry, I'm trying not to cough. Then use Herondar, Herondar's the last zone of the War Within. So I thought Herondar was okay. The story was cool. I kind of wish, though, I don't know, they feel too Night Elfy. Like, I love Night Elves, which is why I feel like they're kind of encroaching a little bit into their territory. I try not to cough,
and
but I did.
Trolls are pretty similar.
Yes.
Trolls are pretty similar to Night Elves, too.
Yep.
Herondar's too vertical for me. Like, on a logistical standpoint, things are very vertically built. There's things above, below, and in between.
How many times did you try to find like a quest NPC, and you're going through like...
Oh, it's bad. Yeah, find the Flight Master. Good luck with that.
Like 7 levels of like the same... Oh, the Flight Master one! Yeah,
I literally saw somebody in the zone chat being like, "Where the hell is the Flight Master?"
And also, what's up with the recent like style of quest where you go to like a new zone and it's like, oh, go talk to these 7 people, and it's like, here's a Flight Master and here's a... How many times do they have to make me go talk to the Flight Master? I'm not gonna use him. I have Dragon Ride.
I refuse.
Yeah, teach the Flight Master how to Dragon Ride, and then we'll talk. And then we'll make it happen. It was I really like the Zangarmarsh kind of vibe at points. Like, to me, that was a really cool throwback again to like Burning Crusade type stuff. And I thought that was hype, especially knowing like too, like, I mean, next expansion's more on the nose with going back to Northrend apparently. So, but I have like the little BC kind of references here and there. The story was okay. I love lore. I'm not 100% sure I actually understand what the heck is going on with the Herondar. It kind of, I don't know. I've heard rumor that they were a carryover from a developer's previous game, that he really wanted them to be in here. And so that kind of makes sense because some of the story feels a little shoehorny. I think it has something to do, though, with the World Soul and the Titans maybe not being super upfront and honest about what the World Soul actually is, maybe. But I don't know. The Herondar story, I think, was probably the weakest. Honestly, in my opinion, the weakest of all the stories. But they look cool, and I'm definitely probably going to make one when they become available. We also have... I'll save the Eritor one for last. So we also have the Void Rift, which I thought was cool.
I mean, the Void Storm?
Void, is it that what is that what it's called? Void Storm?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
The zone.
The zone? Yeah, Void Storm.
Oh, I keep calling it Void Rift. Yeah, you're right, it's Void Storm. Right?
Yeah, same thing. I figured that's what you meant.
Yeah. Which is basically just Nether Storm, right?
Yeah. Very Nether Stormy.
Again, right? Another BC kind of like reference there, right? Burning Crusade. I thought it was cool. I liked the questing wasn't my favorite through there. Again, I think you mentioned your guildmates saying it was like a little convoluted. It felt that way. I really wasn't super paying attention the whole time. But otherwise, like, it was good. The story again was kind of weird, where like I thought Lothraxian going all villainy was weird, right? Like, I feel like
I thought that was weird too, and I kind of thought that sucked.
Yeah, right. Okay, like, I don't know why. Like we're, as the player, I'm sitting here, I'm like, you guys know Lothraxian's right? Like, you know this guy's right? Like, what do you mean?
He just like was gonna go about it the wrong way, but
yeah, he was going
he was definitely right to be what's the word? Like mistrusting.
Like very mistrusting, right?
And he's like a light forged dreadlord. Can we not like get rid of the cool characters?
Yeah, and I feel like Lothraxion had to go at some point, but I thought he was gonna go out in this like awesome way where we find out he was a spy on the light, and there's something going out. Not that he himself was actually like true, like right, like I thought, I don't know. Remember back in Shadowlands, we got word that they even had a spy in the light. I was like,
barely.
Yeah, I was like so convinced that like, oh, Lothraxion is like a spy, it's a thing, right? But I guess not. I think with whatever the purple guy's name was, Decimus was his name, right? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. It just seemed weird to introduce a character like Decimus as a way to throw away Lothraxion. It just didn't fit.
He felt pretty random.
He felt random, right? Even when he betrays us, like he hard betrays us, right? To empower himself. And still Illyria, the most distrusting person of all time, especially after watching Locust Walker get ripped apart by Xal'atath, is like, oh, but we have to trust him. I don't know, man. It just felt weird. And then we went into a dungeon, and all of a sudden I'm killing the guy, and I'm like, wait a second. I remember going
Spoiler.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We warned people. I don't know. I remember walking out of that. Like, I remember finishing that boss fight, and it didn't click with me until the fight literally ended. I was like, wait a second. We actually just killed Lothraxion. And I had to like think back through, like, why? Oh, yeah, because he wanted to blow. And then there's a part of me that's like, why do we even believe Decimus about doing this, destroying Silvermoon? Like, we have no reason to believe that Decimus would care to protect Silvermoon.
That's a good point.
Right? Like I still don't know why Decimus would care to tell us. Like, the way Decimus talks, it sounds like he would be more excited watching Silvermoon blow up because it's entertaining.
Yeah, he could have totally been lying.
Yeah, I don't know. None of it makes sense. I hope we find out he lied. I hope we find out it all would have been fine and he did it just to pit us against each other, right? Like, it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. That was a little weird. With that said, though, the zone was cool looking.
Yeah, for sure.
And I guess that big tower. I kind of like
the whole survival of the fittest vibe.
Yeah, and the big tower, I guess, is like the raid.
Mm-hmm.
That looked very cool. And yeah, you are right. The voidy survival of fitness is cool. It's cool seeing a different side of the void than what we've historically had.
True.
All right, last bit, and then we have a couple questions we'll go through, and we'll just kind of maybe we'll power through the questions. But last bit is the Erator quest line, which was unique because it wasn't a zone, but instead returning to old content zones. What did you think of that?
The apex of it leading to the Argentina was super cool.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You know, I tried to follow the storyline of us going to pick up Tyrallian's shield and all that. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. And I think, too, again, we're talking about, like, the idea of spoon-feeding lore, right? Usually spoon-feeding is a good thing. I've been using it as, like, a negative, as in, like, I'm being treated like a baby. But what I will say, though, is I liked the Erator quest line because it felt like a really healthy way to get lore across to players who maybe, especially for the player who feels like they've started too late to understand what's happening, right? That we're kind of going to these old spots and you're kind of learning like, oh, these are different paladins. These are what the paladins have done, right? Oh, and This is who Tyrallion is. This is what Tyrallion went through. This is how long Tyrallion's been doing what he's been doing, right? It kind of gave you a very edible portion of lore and did so through putting you in the places, kind of like you're on tour. I thought it was nice. I thought it was a really cool touch.
It's nice to go back and use zones that you don't visit a whole lot.
Yeah.
And so much of WoW's lore is not in the game.
Mm-mm.
It's outside the game in the books and etc. That I don't fault them for trying to bring it back in and share it more with the people who just play the game.
Absolutely. Last bit, the Argentina is one of the coolest dumb things I've ever seen in the game. I love and hate the Argentina simultaneously.
Hopefully they don't nerf the toy by the time this podcast goes live. But if you ever need a Hearthstone, you can use the Argentina as a Hearthstone. It has like a 2-minute cooldown.
Yeah, super short cooldown, and then the portal in the Argentina always takes you back to Silvermoon. So it's like the fastest. Okay, we got to move on. My one gripe with the Argentina is their explanation of it is so obnoxious. It is so obnoxious. Yeah. I can't stand their explanation of it. Basically, for those listening and weren't paying attention to the lore, my critiques are that the Argentina has existed for a super long time. So long, in fact, that Khadgar and the Sons of Lothar used to hang out in the Argentina when they were trapped on Outland. But if they could get to the Argentina, why could they not just get from the Argentina back to Azeroth? I never understood that. That made no sense. That makes no sense to me. And I feel like that's kind of weird. I think where it really breaks down, though, like I could maybe in my head be like, oh, the Argentina only ever lets you return to where you came from. I'd be like, okay, cool, whatever, that's fine, whatever. Where it really gets me though is why did a stinking kobold find the Argentina before I did? Like, I see some of the people in there, I'm like, yo, how am I the last one to finally get a key to this place? I don't know.
That's fair.
I don't know, man.
You know, they never explain where the Argentina really comes from either, right? Because they say, you know, Khadgar hang out here a lot, but if you ask him, he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, right.
So,
he's like,
but you know what? I think that's okay too. Just it being kind of a mystery.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is I kind of wish there's less explanation for it, right? And
yeah,
but the actual thing, the Argentina itself, is sick. I love it, and I love that we're gonna be able to kind of get to know some of these characters more, right? It sounds like they want to do a little bit more of what we experienced with the Erator storytelling and that quest chain through the Argentina, of like having us go to places with other characters or doing things for other characters that aren't putting us back in time, but are teaching us that story almost from like a historical perspective, which is cool. So I'm happy about that. Chicken, are you ready? Oh, what are you saying, Wario?
That is cool. And at least we can visit Dalaran by time walking in a few different ways.
That's true. That's true. We do have 2 Dalarans, so we're not. I mean, we've still got options. All right, Chicken, are you ready? We got some listener questions. Oreo, welcome to stay with us as we do these questions. Just want to make sure all the lore talk hasn't put him to sleep yet.
Wake him up.
Wake him up. Wake him up.
Don't worry, I'm still here.
All right.
I'm fading though.
All right, we're gonna hit these questions. We're gonna hit them fast. We're gonna hit them hard. Our first question coming in from one of our Patreon listeners. If you want to have your questions answered first on the podcast, you can always subscribe on our Patreon. It's a way to support what we're doing. The Patreon helps cover the cost of uploading the podcast and kind of also making sure the audio quality of the recordings is good on Discord and some other stuff. So we're super appreciative of that. So first question coming from one of our Patreon listeners, Rack, who says, I know it might be a little early to tell, but how vital is healer DPS looking at this expansion? If I find trying to DPS while healing to be overwhelming, is it okay if I just heal and don't bother DPSing? Ori, that's a great question for you.
Yes. I would say yes. It seems like healer damage is pretty negligible. They've done some steps to try and buff passive damage, like Fire Breath on Presevoker and things like that. But you're fine to just sit back and heal. I think that is the direction that they're currently taking healing. And it's kind of a, it's always been the center of a debate, like heal versus damage for healers. But that seems to be the direction it's going right now.
Absolutely. And even if I'm assuming it's probably somewhat similar to the War Within. There's times where I feel like pressing my damage buttons was like almost pointless. Where I was just like,
especially depending on your class, you would have a very low ceiling of how much damage you could do.
Yeah, I don't know. Shaman felt bad, but maybe I'm just bad at it, so who knows?
Nah, Shaman damage was pretty bad.
All right, Tiger Ace Ray has a question. He says, so far with what you have experienced up to the recording, how do you think the zones questing and overall experience compares to the War Within story zones, etc.? We've kind of had a lot of conversation on this, so I'll just let all three of us kind of answer it. Like super short form, is it over under the War Within as an experience. Chicken, what do you think? Over, under the War Within? Chicken's like, I need some dungeons first.
What'd you say?
I'm like, you need some dungeons first.
I mean, I've only gone through half of it, but I don't know. I don't think it's as good as the War Within, but I feel like I've only done half of it so far.
That's
so
fair.
I don't know.
Fair.
Might get better.
You've done some good parts of it, though.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, Ori, what do you think? Over, under the War Within, especially the story questing zones, etc.
Yeah, like the introduction, the story, and the questing. Like, I haven't done too much of dungeoning, and obviously Mythic Plus isn't out yet. So maybe my opinion will change on dungeons, but I think it's pretty far over the War Within for me. I like it a lot more so far, especially like the introduction standpoint. And I think it resonates, I guess, more than the War Within did.
Makes sense.
And Silvermoon's way better than Dornegal.
Dude, Silvermoon is such a good city. I love it. We could have Silvermoon for a few expansions and I'd be fine. I'd be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to say it's over. I really like the zones. I like questing in them. As you can tell by the way I'm even talking about the story, I'm way more passionate about what's going on in these zones in the story than I think I ever was with the War Within. Ashket Het was like almost non-existent for me. I just didn't care. The Ringing Deeps was it was whatever. I just feel like overall, I feel yeah, it was I just feel so much more like invested in this, right? The story just feels so much closer to home for Warcraft, and that gets me excited. Like that just gets me so excited to like actually see the tensions. And by the way, to see the tensions, like every time Turalian and Lord Thamar kind of butt heads, I get so excited. Like I like that. I want more of that. Like I want these leaders who have to reluctantly work together. I'll never forget like way back in Wrath, right? Like when you would see like Thrall show up to a meeting and Garrosh would be coming along with him, and then like Garrosh and Varian Wrynn are like about to fight each other every single time. Like I want those conflicts to exist, even if they're not at war with each other, for those tensions to exist. So I've been very hooked. I've been very hooked so far in Midnight. It's been great. Another question coming in from Gio Mio. He says, have you stuck with mainly one class / spec since you have been playing, or do you change it regularly? So he says that he likes to change it up every season. He plays a different spec. Or you said that you are changing your spec this season, but
I am.
Is that pretty normal for you to change up a lot, or not normal?
I'd say it's pretty abnormal for me.
Okay.
Yeah, like I have played pretty much 3 classes.
Yeah.
Deeply like in this game, and I started on Druid, went to Shaman in Shadowlands, and played Prez when it first came out, and now I'm just giving it a main try.
That's awesome.
But I always have like massive respect for the people who can play a different class and like every season, because it takes a really versatile person to pick it up. I feel like I get so bad at learning new things, and that's why I stay with the classes that I'm familiar with.
That's true. Even if like it's the worst spec, I'm still just like, I don't care. I know it. That's
like, I love it. Yeah.
I'm pretty much a creature of habit. DK and Blood DK specifically. For me, it's spec. It's not even just the class, right? Blood DK, Resto Shaman. I'll venture out of that sometimes. Like I'll play a Prot Pally, I'll play a Bear Druid, I'll play Brewmaster Tank, I'll play other tanks, but I never feel nearly as comfortable on them as I do Blood DK. So Blood DK is pretty much always my main, and if I ever take a break from it, it's Resto Shaman that I go to. I've done that a couple times now. That tends to be my comfort zone. Chicken, I think you're kind of the same, right? You've played a DK most of the time, or you'll go to Mistweaver.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. I haven't changed up for a while.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. All right, last question for the podcast today from Carb, and he said, if you had to betray the Blood Elves to join the Amani and stand as Zuljara's right hand if they were still enemies, would you? So I guess part of that question is we just quested through Zulaman, right? we're pretty close with Zuljara, right? As she is getting the favor of all the Loas. If the Amani and the Blood Elves start attacking each other again, right? Like, what side would you take? Chicken, I want to know your answer. Which side, dude? Which side are you taking?
I'm the one that gives me more housing decor.
That's fair. That's fair. I think both do. It just depends on if you want elf decor or troll decor.
Troll.
All right. All right. Chicken's with the Amani. Oreo, where are you at? Are you with the Amani or the elves?
I think I've got to go elf decor.
That's fair. That's fair. I think I'm also with the elves. The Amani decor is cool, but it's a little harder for me to like find ways to fit it into my housing. I'm not gonna lie.
It's too spiky.
Too spiky. I've already actually the hard one I found surprisingly is the Hairnir stuff. I thought I would love more nature things, but some of them feel too abstract to like totally know what to do with. But yeah, I'd probably go with the gloves. I've already started using my housing decor already. It's already starting to find its way into my home. But with that said, that is all the time we have for today's podcast episode. Oreo, thank you so much for being on today's episode. Obviously, throughout the whole episode, we call you Oreo, but your handle for social media and content creation is Mothravita. And we will leave
correct.
Yeah, and we'll leave a link for your Twitch channel in the description. Currently, you're on a little bit of a hiatus, but I think you're coming back, right, for midnight when raiding starts back up?
That is correct. Should be seeing a bit more of me soon.
Perfect. If you don't have to commit, but if there was a date that they could expect your guild's first raid night to be live streamed, when would that be?
Probably around before the 17th, because that's the first week.
Okay. Perfect.
So.
Perfect. All right. Yeah, actually, I'm excited for all the raiding dungeons that come back out. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll drop your socials down in the description as well. This has been great. I gotta stay up late now and export this and upload it and do all the shenanigans. So thank you so much, and we'll be back next week with episode 80.